Hello everyone and welcome to question 54 of the Q&A series. Do you ever have the feeling of never being satisfied with something, be it a performance or the general way you're conducting yourself in a musical endeavour? What do you do about this? Believe it or not, I often feel dissatisfied with my teaching, whether it's how I've taught an entire lesson that day, or even in that case sometimes several lessons in that day. Sometimes my mood's not quite as good as it should be. Or a small section of a lesson, or even just one sentence I've said in the lesson that could have been, not exactly to my standards of being professional. More with younger students. With adults, I feel like I can let myself go a little bit more, and we can, conversations can vary differently. Or I might have said a joke that's probably not age. I wouldn't say the word age appropriate, but age appropriate in the way that it's sort of too old for them to understand, or it's like about a show they've never heard of or music they've never heard of, and it just goes straight over their heads, and it makes me feel a bit like, oh well, I shouldn't have said that. Or sometimes I can just be, believe it or not, socially awkward, or say things that are too advanced for children to understand, and it gets a bit too confusing because of that. I've got much better about that actually though, so I say I still do that, but I am better about it anyway. But yeah, things like that can happen sometimes. Like I say, sometimes it can be a whole lesson or two. And actually, often it's not because my mood's bad, thinking about it. Because sometimes when my mood is bad, I actually go sort of above and beyond to ensure my teaching doesn't go that way too. I act much happier. Fake it till you make it. As much as that saying probably shouldn't be used. But yeah, and if I feel like this, if I feel dissatisfied, I reflect on it, like I am doing right now. And just have, I reflected, I reflected on action there. You reflect on it and you think, what could I do better? Or on the flip side of that, yes, you can improve, but actually think about, what did I do right? There must have been something, even if the lesson was rubbish. There must have been something that went good in that lesson. So think of it like that. I always think about something that's gone horrendously bad, but actually other people don't notice. Like I might think from a lesson, oh well, that went horrible, but the student wouldn't have even noticed. But you can tell by their face they actually didn't know. An example of this actually is I recorded a video this week. It's now last week. Whilst I was feeling under the weather, I had a bit of a flu, as you know from previous videos, and I was struggling with my hearing. Sinuses were all blocked up, and it just affected my hearing. I felt almost like I was underwater. I was relying mostly on muscle memory for getting things right because of this, because I just couldn't hear anything, so I was relying on, oh, my fingers are in this position, blah blah blah. I knew I made some mistakes in the video, and at the time I thought they were horrendous. I could just about hear enough to know that chord wasn't right, that stumbled, or I felt it was wrong. And then when I was playing it back, luckily I put some headphones on. I could hear perfectly fine with headphones because it was going directly through to me. Whereas with playing out loud, actually what was happening was even just the fan of the computer or the sound of the refrigerator or even just wind outside, it was actually blocking my hearing so bad I couldn't hear what was going on. Too many background noises were affecting me. But when I was listening back to the video, the mistakes were hardly even there. And I know that because I had the sound really loud, and I was trying to listen, and there was only really one actual noticeable mistake in the entire piece, which I would argue probably not so noticeable to people that don't know the arrangement already. Plus side of doing an arrangement that actually only one person has published on YouTube so far. So the bottom line of this is, when what you think is rubbish may not be anywhere close to what other people have sort of heard or think of you. We are our own worst critics, is the takeaway from this, all in all. So yes, comment below any thoughts or feelings you have on this. Even if there's a thing you want to reflect on, I can help you bounce off ideas. I love reflecting. More on reflecting could be Schoen's model, reflecting in action versus reflecting on action. And there's the other reflective model, but I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the person that created it. But there's two reflective models. but we can have a look at that at another time if you are interested, of course. If you're not, then it's fine. But yes, all right. Cheers, bye.